Hello there, my name is Anna Lundberg. I'm the founder of One Step Outside, author of Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5 and host of the Reimagining Success podcast. Now, we talked about why I believe having your own business, working for yourself, is the best way to create the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that so many of us long for in our life and career more broadly. And last week we looked at how you can begin to set up your business to make sure you get that freedom and flexibility and so on. In the next few weeks, starting now, I'd love to talk a bit more in depth, in detail, with some concrete tips and tools and tricks for you to actually set up your business in a way that's going to give you that freedom and flexibility and fulfillment. And so this week I wanted to start with creating systems. Now, when I say systems, I mean quite broadly processes, procedures, routines, tools, and so on. And it's one of those things that we absolutely hate being part of when we're working in a big corporation. So all those approval procedures and policies you have to follow and so on can feel quite frustrating. But believe me, there is a reason why these companies have implemented those systems. And as I found, when I started my business, as exciting as it can be to be completely free of those systems, a little bit of system, a little bit of routine is actually what's going to give you that freedom. The most important benefit of creating systems, automating, is to free up your time to work on much more important value-added projects and tasks in the business rather than those more manual, repetitive ones. So I want to talk you through a few examples of how I've created systems in my business, and then you can have a look at whether or not it's appropriate for you. If you haven't started creating any systems at all, maybe you can have a look at one or two of these that you want to consider implementing your own business. And I'm going to have to look at my list here so I can go through all the little systems that I want to talk to you about. But the first one is actually perhaps not strictly speaking a system, you might think, but it is establishing a weekly routine. Because again, as exciting as it can be to be completely free and flexible with your time, you'll very soon find that the day just passes when you haven't done anything. So waking up on Monday morning, knowing exactly what your priorities are, exactly the steps you need to take. I need to create this content, post this, write that, contact this person, is hugely liberating and will really help you progress towards your goals. The first one has to be establishing a weekly routine. The second one is documenting key workflows. And this might seem a little bit unnecessary when it's just you in the business, but the reality is, especially if it's something you don't do very often, for example, when I first started doing my company accounts, I'd remember how to do it, I'd learn it, I'd work it all out, and then a year later, oops, suddenly forgotten everything. So having that documented step by step will help you to replicate that another time. And by the way, we're talking outsourcing next week. Documenting those workflows is going to make it much easier for you to delegate to someone else once you're in that space where you're ready to do so. Creating resources. So if you find that people are constantly coming with the same questions, you're constantly having to write the same thing or tell individuals the same thing, why not create a little video or a blog post or a podcast episode or a PDF resource, whatever it might be, to answer those questions. So a bit of sort of evergreen, maybe FAQs to answer those questions so you don't have to keep answering them every time. Scheduling appointments. Now, this is one of the first things I ever created a system for. I very quickly realised I did not want to get into that back and forth of, hi, are you available this time? No, but I can do this. Oh, no, that doesn't quite work for me. Oh, this has come up. So I have a scheduling software, and there are lots available where clients can then apply. They'll see the synced calendar that links up with my own calendar, so they can really see already when I'm available, propose 3 slots, and I'll then approve one, and that happens seamlessly with emails as well to confirm and notifications and so on. So that's massive if you do a lot of phone calls. The next one is scheduling blog posts, social media, emails and so on. And again, it's something, I'm a big fan of organic posting on social, but if you want to be free with your time, you don't want to have to be tied to maybe on your holiday, maybe when you're away from your computer or working on something important, to having to post at a certain time every day. And that's really important for trust and credibility with your clients. So using scheduling software and having just a content calendar, in fact, for your posts, for your emails, for your social content is really critical. And in fact, I mentioned email there, having email sequences. So if someone signs up to your list, having sort of a warm-up sequence where they can find out about your story, maybe you invite them to your Facebook group, and you can give them some other resources that'll be useful. Again, that helps you to give the same content, the same messages to everyone who signs up and joins a community without you having to just repeat the same thing over and over. So that's happening in the background. And then I mentioned my company accounts. Accounting software has been incredibly powerful for me too. There are all sorts of options now that let you pull in your bank feed automatically, that can help you generate the reports at the end of the year and so on. And that if you have an accountant, which you probably should have, the accountant can pull the information directly from there as well. So I've gone through that list very quickly, so you may want to watch again just to sort of jot down some notes and ideas for what you can do. If you're completely lost, you don't have any systems, you don't know where to start, then I'd love to invite you to a free consultation call with me. We can have a look at the possible mess that is your business, and don't worry, I've been there, probably still am there. There's constantly ways in which we can improve, and we can have a look then at the kind of systems that you might want to introduce to free up your time to work on what really matters. So you can sign up for that consultation at onestepoutside.com/free consultation. onestepoutside.com/free consultation. Thanks so much, and I look forward to speaking to you. Bye for now.